Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today as we get into one of the most important videos that I think we're going to have, ironically. This is a game where many people are not really expecting it to be too difficult, but the circumstances around this game that we are going to see tomorrow is going to cement or collapse a lot of things. Because Chelsea beat Aston Villa in the way that they did, we were in fantastic condition during that day. We could not believe what we were seeing. There's two directions that Chelsea can go in here. It's either beat Crystal Palace tomorrow, as we should, and I'll explain why, and cement everything a little bit more, or we don't, and everything we did becomes void, should we say. So there's a choice. Chelsea are at they're at a split in the road. Do you go this way or do you go that way? Pick one. So we're going to get into that very, very shortly. Before we do, tomorrow I will be here as we get to see the game together. Of course, we are going to be on the watch along, so make sure you guys are here for that and make sure that you are subscribed to catch all the content as it drops. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I have uploaded, and you'll be notified as well when I do go live for that watch along tomorrow, and we can watch the game together. And then after that, I will give you my post-match review, so make sure you're there for that. It's going to be fun, I hope. Now, this brings me on to this point. What we saw against Aston Villa was unbelievable, right? And as I've said, that was the first time, not just this season, that was the first time in 18 months where I watched a Chelsea game and said, I feel like I'm watching Chelsea. You know, from minute 1 to minute 90, I felt like I was watching Chelsea. It was proper. Ironically, should we say proper Chelsea, perhaps? It was a fantastic performance, and not just a performance just for the sake of putting on a performance. Everything in terms of the way the game was managed, the way that the players were playing, the execution, being clinical, it was all there. Perfect. So we need to build on that and continue. Now, the one differing factor between this game against Aston Villa we're going to have that we had, and this game coming up tomorrow against Crystal Palace that we're going to have, there's one distinct difference. That was a cup game. This is a league game. Now, funnily enough, at face value, there's a fundamental difference. But when you think about top footballers at this level, it really shouldn't be that much of a difference. Now, if you're talking lower league, yeah, there is a big difference between playing a league game and a cup game. I don't really think that should differentiate at the highest level, because at the highest level, you should be taking every single game to the max, right? You're a top team. If you're one of the best, you should be able to deal with that. Not to say Chelsea are one of the best, we're not at the moment, we're nowhere near. But, and I say Premier League clubs, right? You shouldn't be different in the league compared to the cup competitions. You shouldn't, right? I will tell you, lower league, to be honest, it goes all the way down to pub league. All the way down to pub league. If you've played, you'd know when you're playing a league game compared to when you got a cup game, it's not the same. It's just not the same, yeah? A league game is a league game. Psychologically, you automatically think, it's just the normal routine. It's the standard routine. Yeah, we got another league game. Yeah, you know. We had one last week. We'll have one next week. There's a little less urgency to it because you always know that if something were to go wrong, you can rectify it next week. You can try and rectify it the next game. Yeah, it's not the be all and end all. There's no consequences unless if there's something on the line. But more times than not, it's not. A cup game, well, no. A cup game is, listen, we show up today or we're out. So what are we doing? A cup game has this extra buzz and this extra feel about it. But this is why, at the top level, that shouldn't be the case. Because the Premier League is important, mate. You know, it's you're playing against top teams. You don't want to drop off. Every game should be taken with a sense of urgency. So I hope Chelsea didn't just show up against Aston Villa because, well, it's a cup game, we have to show up. Like, no. That was a top performance. And like I said, a top result and top execution by the manager and by the players. I need the same tomorrow. And I'll explain why I absolutely must see it tomorrow. Because we're playing Crystal Palace at Selhurst. Crystal Palace fans themselves will tell you how unhappy they are with Crystal Palace this season. They are currently sitting 15th in the Premier League table. Ironically, only 7 points behind us. Yeah, 7. Crazy. Crystal Palace have had a horrid season. Yeah, they've not got good results. There's been, I mean, you saw when they went to Arsenal, and that Arsenal dispatched of them very, very easily, 5-0. And Roy Hodgson just, he's like this. Hey, Roy Hodgson respectfully should not be managing. I'm surprised that we're playing Crystal Palace tomorrow and Roy Hodgson is still the manager. I remember looking at this fixture on the fixture list and I'm like a while ago, and I'm going, yeah, Roy Hodgson's not making it for the Chelsea game. No chance. No chance. They'll probably get a manager bounce, playing against us or something. I swear I was expecting it. No, he's still here. Great. Fantastic for us. Brilliant. I would think. I would think, because Chelsea sometimes, tends to be a little bit of a shock, and I don't like it. But anyway, Roy Hodgson still in a job is unbelievable. And Crystal Palace fans will tell you that themselves. They're not happy. They've been holding, you could say, mini protests at games. The odd banner here and there. Where is the club going? What are you doing? What's happening? Why are we like this? They've got all of that going on. On top of that, for tomorrow, Olise, out. Eze, out. Gurhi, out. I've got Raksaki has also had a setback in his recovery from a hamstring injury. They've got top players out here. And Roy Hodgson still in charge, who looks like he shouldn't be managing. He should be at home enjoying his life, if I'm being completely honest. Right? He should not be anywhere near management. Appreciate that he is a Palace boy. Oh, it has been since he was a young chap, of course, and has had a career. He had a long career, right? Call it a day, please. Look, I'm not even a Palace fan, but please, for the sake, to be fair, technically they are my local club. If we're talking local, technically they're my local club. But even I'm saying, listen, please put the fella out of his misery. Send him home. Let him enjoy his life. Stop putting him through this. So there's that. With Chelsea, we could not have a better set of circumstances going into a game after the sort of game that we had against Aston Villa. So this is why tomorrow I'm expecting a win. And I'm expecting a straightforward fixture. And I think it gets difficult afterwards. I think you start thinking about Man City. You start thinking about even Brentford away, the cup final, all of that. You start to think, okay, we might have issues. But tomorrow, surely not. Surely Chelsea. Look, I'll be honest, even if we didn't beat Villa, I expect to go to Selhurst. This was the one game on the calendar where I told myself, look, if Hodgson is still here, no matter how bad we are, it's a win. Surely it's a win. It has to be. It has to be. So there's that. For Chelsea and the team news there, we have Badiashile is a doubt. I don't think he's going to play because he's got a groin issue that he picked up against Villa. Levi Colwill is looking like he's going to be back. He's going to be assessed, but it's looking like he's going to be available. And so is Trevor Chalobah. Who would have thought that? Not so sure he's going to get many minutes, but he's available, it looks like, and ready to return. So apart from that, everyone else is all set to go. So if we're talking about the team, what are we going to do? I'll explain it. Let's get into it. Here is my starting 11. Right. Let's start off with Pochettino, right? Forget the players for a sec. Pochettino managed the game against Aston Villa perfectly, brilliantly. And I want to see more of it. I want to see the same balance. I want to see the same execution. I want to see the same positions that the players were playing in. And I want to see the same in-game management that we saw. I thought it was perfect. We played in a back four, at times in a 4-4-2. We had a very balanced midfield, balanced flanks, balanced defense to attack. Jackson on the left. As I said, everything was as balanced. And we were clinical, moving really, really well. When the time came to be able to make certain substitutions, he did perfectly, such as Thiago Silva coming on with 15 minutes. That's how you want to use a 39-year-old with experience. Brilliant. At the same time, bringing on Alfie Gilchrist for 10 minutes. That's how you want to use an academy player. Brilliant. Perfect amount of minutes given. Went to a back three, back five, technically. Back five, in order to protect the 3-0 lead and make it difficult. And even then, to be honest, we let in a goal. But for me, perfect. That's the sort of time to do it. So the in-game management for me was perfect. For Poch, you still have your job on the line. I'm not looking at the Villa result and going, oh my God, everything's fixed. No. We need to get results. We need to start picking up the same sort of level that we saw against Villa consistently in games together. So that starts tomorrow against Crystal Palace. If we drop off against Palace tomorrow, we go back to type. If I see a lineup, here's the warning for Poch. If I see a lineup where we all know, we look and we go, oh my flipping God. I'll give you an example. Sterling doesn't have a place in tomorrow's team. End of story. So if we see Sterling in the starting 11, if we see Enzo in the 10, if I see Levi Koa at left back, things like that, if we revert back to them, I'm sorry, Poch, I'm coming for you. It's you. At this point, it's you. So that I don't want to see. So if we're going to base it on all of that, we get into the starting 11. In goal, Petrovic, of course, and credit to him. Sanchez is actually back in training, but Petrovic has become the new number one as far as I'm concerned. The centre-backs, I would go Disasi and Levi Colwell. Now, I know some people are going to call for Thiago Silva, and I get it, and I understand it, and I'm not against it. But I think that we were onto something with the balance that we had in the last game throughout the team, which assisted the centre-backs to be a bit more composed with the attributes that they have. They were composed, there wasn't much pressure, but at the same time, their youthfulness, their pace, their agility helped. That's important to have, Tomorrow, we are in a situation where I'm expecting a lot of the ball. Because Crystal Palace, I don't feel like are going to feel like they have the tools to come at us all guns blazing, like if they did have an Olise, an Eze, etc. So tomorrow, it'll be a good game to bring back Levi Colwell, who will be the suitor to replace Badiashile, who I don't think is going to make it for tomorrow. So Levi Colwell at left centre-back, Disasi, who's been playing well as well at right centre-back, keep it up. Now, on the right, Gusto, he's been really, really good too, so fair play to him. Very reliable. And Chilwell on the left. He had a much better game against Aston Villa than he did prior to that, where he was an absolute calamity. So I'm expecting a controlled, good performance from him tomorrow. Got to keep the levels now. So Chilwell at left back, and let's see how it moves. In midfield, we don't even need to discuss. They need to combine and play in the same way that they did against Aston Villa. That was perfect for Caicedo and for Enzo. They were bouncing off each other. They were a collective unit. It wasn't two individuals with one roaming where he wants, the other being left exposed. It was two becoming one. It was a beautiful union. So those two together need to keep that going. And if another free kick pops up and Enzo decides to stick it top bins, I won't complain. So there's that. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. I want Poch to keep the same 11, is what I said. There's one slight tweak that I would make. After thinking about it, there's one slight tweak. But this is all I want to see. I don't want to see any other changes. Conor Gallagher played very well against Aston Villa. But this game tomorrow, I don't feel suits him. And I feel we need more technicality in those areas because Crystal Palace, I feel like, are going to just try and have as much damage limitation as possible. I don't feel like they're going to come at us. I think they're going to sit low. I think they're going to just maybe try and maybe nick a 1-0 if it's possible from somewhere. But if not, I think they're just going to defend and defend and defend. So Gallagher and his physical attributes, let's put it that way, his press and his energy and all that is not necessarily needed. There's nothing to press tomorrow. I feel like we're going to have most of the ball. So if we're going to have most of the ball, I'm going to need some ballers. Now, don't get me wrong, Gallagher at the end of that Villa game was moving like Ronaldinho. And I don't know where it's come from. But I want to see Nkunku on the pitch. So for this reason, I am going Palmer in the 10. Bring him back and stick him in the 10. At the same time, Jackson on the left, keep that as it is. He was very effective on that left-hand side. And Poch made a point, which I actually agree with. He made the point of saying that Jackson likes to face the goal, not to have his back to goal, which is where he reckons he might struggle. It's a point. And I understand that. As an attacker, you always want to be facing the goal. You always want to feel like you're running at plays. You never want to feel like you've always got your back to goal, because if you do, there's always a psyche that can develop for an attacker where he's like, I genuinely don't know what's going on behind me. What space do I run into? How am I going to beat this defender? I'm constantly looking to try and receive the ball, but I'm not looking to actually take the ball. Like, it doesn't help. But when you're on the flank and you feel like you're on the touchline and you're seeing the whole game, you have more reason to have your body towards goal. And Jackson had that time and time again and was being able to run into space really effectively. I want to see that again tomorrow. Now, he's not going to have that space because tomorrow Palace, I feel like, are going to sit back. But he's going to have something to run into, at least. So Jackson on the left, keep it up. Madueke on the right, he just does not deserve to be dropped after the last game. We have a winger issue. Right, and I wouldn't mind seeing Cole Palmer on the right, but then it would mean Madueke doesn't play when I feel like Madueke was actually one of the most effective players against Aston Villa. He was causing havoc on that right-hand side, and I feel like he deserves another chance. He is technical to an extent, and I feel like it would be good to have him against Palace and see what he can do. If we need to change, then I would consider bringing Palmer across to the right, Gallagher into where Palmer is right now, and up top, Nkunku. This is where I feel like we have enough players in that front line that all possess some sort of technical ability, you know? And with the blend that we might be able to get between Cole Palmer and Nkunku is something that I'm curious to see. So Nkunku, fingers crossed he can provide goals, fingers crossed he's clinical, fingers crossed, and he's a top player. I would say he is probably, when you look on the list, you think he's our best player. So you kind of think he has to play. Where does he come in though? If Jackson's on the left, I'm sorry, we need to play someone that can play as a striker or someone that can play up top. And Nkunku's the closest thing we got to it. I don't want Cole Palmer in the false nine. So this is where I've gone with this instead. And this is why I think Gallagher has become collateral. But at the perfect time, because against Palace, you can feel why Gallagher won't be needed. It's not that, we don't want Gallagher. No, Gallagher's not necessary. Is the way that I'm looking at it. The rest are. So, let me know what you think. But ladies and gentlemen, that is my starting 11. And as I tell you guys, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded, and be here for the watch long tomorrow, make sure. My prediction, as I said, even if Chelsea were on horrid form, even if we didn't have that Aston Villa game, even if we got knocked out, I'd be looking at Palace and thinking, no, you know what? This is the one game that we'll win. Because look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. No matter how bad you are going to win a game. One game at least. You look at Sheffield United and Burnley, and even they win the odd game here and that. You're going to win a game. You're not going to go winless from now up until May. It's just not happening. Palace and the circumstances they're in, with the manager that they got, and the way that they're playing, I'm sorry. But this is like the one game where you think, yeah, we're getting this. So let's see. And not to act all overconfident, I'm not, but I'm trying to be logical here. There is zero excuse to not win tomorrow. Literally, even in our worst form, there is no excuse. If Roy Hodgson wasn't there and they had a new manager just come in, I'd be like, okay, maybe they're going to get a new manager bounce. Maybe we're in trouble. Maybe. I'm sorry. No. With players out, Hodgson's still there. They're not happy. They're not playing well. I'm sorry. There's no excuse. So, especially after the way we moved against Aston Villa, then there should be no reason to not get a decent win tomorrow. So, let me know your thoughts down below. My prediction, I am going Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 2. Should I say 3? No, I'm not going to get carried away. Let's keep it to 2. I reckon 2-0 win. I don't feel like they have the firepower up top to be able to score. But I don't feel like we're going to go on a rampage either. I feel like it'll just be a controlled win. So 2-0, that's my prediction. Let me know yours in the comment section below. Much appreciated. And I will see all of you tomorrow on the watch along. Thank you all so much. See you tomorrow, people. Have a good one. Take care. And peace.